Good evening, everyone. I welcome today's speaker, Shivang Desai, on behalf of WARC, and also our chairman, dynamic chairman Ketan Sayya sir, Fenil Shah sir, Jitendra Saglani, our coordinator of the day, Neelam Bhattar, and all the participants. Just now we have completed RRC at Switzerland, and after completion, this is really fabulous to have a session on opportunities in Switzerland. Thank you, Chairman sir, for this wonderful session uh, for the members. Uh, I request,
Backend team to play ICI motto first.
yeah, please.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Chairman sir, please give your opening.
Thank you.
remark. Yes.
Thank you, Rajesh bhai. But before I, give my opening remark today, we have two worthy personalities who are also there online. May I first request Chairman Vikasa Jitendra Saglani to, give his opening remark, and after that we have CA Dr. Fenil Shah, Treasurer of Western India Regional Council. After Jitendra bhai, I'll request Fenil bhai to, talk to all of us.
Thank you, Chairman sir. Chairman sir, actually, I'll be proposing a vote of thanks, so I will not speak here. I'll request Fenil bhai, if you're there, you can take it forward, please.
Yeah, Fenil bhai is there. Fenil bhai, you may please address.
Okay. Yes, so very good evening to all of you who are present here. The chairman of our region and a visionary leader leading all of us through his vision, CA Ketan Sayya sir. The faculty for the session, CA Shivang Desai sir. The chairman of Vikasa, CA Jitendra Saglani ji, CA Rajesh Agarwal ji. The coordinator, CA Neelam madam, and all the members who are present here to think upon which are the opportunities which are there in Switzerland. So I can say that I had an opportunity to personally meet Shivang bhai in World Forum of Accountants in probably December or January 2025. And at that point of he also explained that there are various investment opportunities, right, into Switzerland. So obviously, sir is going to focus on various things. But apart from that, sir, mainly I always say that whenever it comes to any type of opportunities overseas, we, the Indian practitioners, always think of bookkeeping as one of the opportunity. But apart from that, maybe there are taxation opportunities, there are opportunities by which the business structuring can be done via Switzerland in the best way. Payroll processing may also one of the opportunity where Indian practitioners can focus. So, sir, please address during this session that which are the opportunities. And I have read somewhere that as far as Switzerland is concerned, it is the number one in the global innovation index since last 13 or more than 13 years. And it is one of the stable and a low tax economy. So in lieu of all these things, how we, the Indian practitioners, can take the best opportunity or seize the opportunities there. So we are very grateful to have you here, sir. And with this, now I request Ketan, sir, to have his words of wisdom.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fenil bhai. Thank you, Fenil bhai.
And Let me, continue from where Fenil Bhai said. In fact, that was the first interaction Fenil Bhai even I had with Shivang, and Shivang was kind to invite us. He said, "Why don't you plan an international RRC at Switzerland?" And with his input, we planned successfully. He addressed all of us over there, but as if that was not enough. I mean, we were thinking that we should have a detailed session, and we requested him to, give his convenient date after a couple of months, and now today is that day. So I think he's got huge, experience and a lot of ideas about opportunities in Switzerland, and he's kind enough to, share those with all of us. Today, he himself is, implemented. He's in Switzerland for over a decade, and I think he's the right person. And Shivang Bhai, also on, behalf of WIRC, let me again place on record sincere thanks to you for helping, not only guiding us on the entire itinerary of Switzerland, also guiding over there, practically helping us over there for various issues which we were facing. He was first contact point. If we had any doubt, any confusion, he was the first contact point to whom we used to call and ask him. So thank you for all your kindness and support to WIRC. I think Switzerland is such place that we can have many more such trips, educational trips over there. And Fanil bhai, apart from what you said, I think crypto is one such again. For that the place is Switzerland. It is like a capital of crypto as of today. And again, of course, that requires a separate session itself. But nonetheless, for the education purpose, we can learn that also sometime, maybe from Shivang or any of his colleague, that what's happening in crypto in Switzerland. And let me tell you, friends, we have Rajesh Agarwal ji, who is, not only our vice chairman of GST committee, but also is chairman of our sustainability committee, and a very knowledgeable person, past chairman of Pune branch. Rajesh bhai, thank you for always being supportive to WIRC and taking a lot of help desk, lot of WIRC program, RRCs which you conducted for WIRC of GST. Thank you for all of that. Members, let me tell you that we have, one unique event which is coming up on 10th, 11th, and 12th of October. We are having a RRC at Jaipur, which is the first RRC happening at Center of Excellence. That is our own facility of ICAI, where WIRC is conducting first RRC, and a nominal cost is 7,500. We are having paper on international tax, transfer pricing, and FEMA, and requesting members to take advantage of this RRC. Wonderful speakers are lined up, and you can go through the details on the website. On 19th and 20th of December, we have, regional conference happening at World Convention Center, Geo, Mumbai. And today also we have, kept it at early but discounted fees of 4,500 rupees. The overall cost of conference is almost 10,000. However, with the help of sponsorship, we have kept it at 4,500, requesting members to take advantage of that. Many programs are organized by Western India Regional Council for members and the student, requesting members to take advantage of that. And please tell the articles and the other students to take part in the student activities which are being hosted by WRC Vikasa. With this, once again, welcoming Shivang for awaiting a wonderful talk from him. Thank you so much. Over to you, Rajesh bhai.
Thank you, Chairman sir. Thanks a lot. Under your leadership, we are doing fantastic job for the members and students at WRC level by organizing different workshops, programs, help desks, study groups, RRCs, and thanks for your all efforts. Today also, I think you are into WRC office only. So on the topic, friends, after COVID, what we have observed, this outsourcing business is also increased tremendously. Before COVID, there was a mindset not to outsource the accounting and finance related work to any other country because of the confidentiality and all. But after COVID, this mindset, I think, drastically changed. And now, out of 10, I think around 4 businesses are complying their accounting and finance job in other country like India, Vietnam, and other countries. So this is a biggest opportunity for members. And many people ask me कि members are increasing in every attempt, whether there are business opportunity, professional opportunities for them. So considering the global market, I think there are huge opportunities for the members. Uh, we should give our best. It is not easy to pitch the client which are located outside India. And whenever we discuss about the opportunities, sir, members are asking where we will get the client, how we will get the client. Whether this after this session we will came to know how to pitch the client. Friends, I
Mm-hmm.
think we will get the basic idea after completion of this session. We have to put our best efforts to start practice in these areas, but opportunities are tremendous. I request Neelam madam to please uh, share the profile of our today's speaker.
Yes, sir. First of all, I would like to thank WIRC for providing me an opportunity to give the introduction of such a great person. Just an introduction. CA Shivang Desai is a qualified chartered accountant from Vadodara, and he has completed his articleship from KC Mehta and Company. He began his professional career with Alstom Projects India in 2009 as a part of Finance Graduate Development International Program, gaining valuable experience in India. Then he moved forward to Paris and later on and residing right now in Switzerland. In Switzerland, Shivang has held key finance roles across multiple multinational companies with responsibilities spanning controlling, accounting, and financial planning and analysis. Most recently, he managed Swiss principal entities for the Tupperware Group and is currently working with CBRE. He is also the founding chairperson of ICAI Zurich chapter. He is preparing to launch his own practice in Switzerland, focused on supporting Indian companies with their establishment and operations in the Swiss market. He provides directorship services, audit, tax, and other compliances for the Indian companies registered in Switzerland. He is closely working with agencies relating to TEPA agreement. He is also associated with UHNIs from India and consult them for family offices, property investment, and succession planning. Over to you, sir. I would like to invite Sir Shivang, sir, to move forward.
Thank you, Neelam madam. Shivang bhai, dais is yours.
Thank you so much, WRC, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Ketan bhai, for giving this opportunity again, like especially because, when we discussed here in Switzerland, I mean, I agree 1 or 2 hours is not enough. And we have to also make sure that we give this information to as many as chartered accountants as possible in India, right? Especially all the fraternity members, as Mr. Fennel and Mr. Rajesh mentioned that, we need to discuss about investments, business structure, outsourcing. I mean, this is one of the growing market currently. I met a lot of people in India and they are doing outsourcing. And when I hear the number, it's crazy, if I be honest with you. So definitely outsourcing is one of the things that, growing currently in India. And I will definitely go in more detail. I have the slides for that. And of course, the crypto, we need one whole day or let's say at least 4 or 5 hours with our crypto tax partner to provide more information because Switzerland is a crypto valley. It's legal here. And of course, like when we discuss about small things, and I mean, I know people are getting amazed. I can buy grocery from crypto. I can pay my income tax in crypto, in Bitcoins. So this is where the Switzerland stands currently, and definitely, I got almost all the slides in our slides, and we'll go through in detail. Okay, so let me begin then. Okay, I will
Please.
share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. So thank you all for joining today, all our participants. Switzerland. People have always seen Switzerland, in movies, okay, and we always talk about Swiss watches, chocolates, but Actually, there is a lot of things actually in Switzerland, all for professional people as well, not only for pictures or camera. Of course, this is my picture. I took the picture, so I have an opportunity to show everyone. But we have a lot of things, and I would like to keep this session bit interactive. So if you have any questions or something, feel free to chat, and I'm happy to give you answers as much as possible at the same time, or maybe we can go to the question and answer sessions later. So, how we know Switzerland? Of course, chocolates, Swiss chocolates. We talk about watches, Rolex, Omega, Swiss sceneries we have seen in movies, and of course, there are so many people who has already been to Switzerland. Swiss banks, our favorite topic, especially for the chartered accountants. We always talk about Swiss banks. Of course, Bollywood. This is the first time, when people knew about Switzerland, when they watched, Bollywood movies, and then they started like the tourism in Switzerland grew because of the movies. And till now, also, Swiss tourism is always thankful to the Indian Bollywood. Swiss trains, we have the punctuality. No one can beat this in the market. Gold, Swiss money. As we mentioned, crypto. I'm not sure how many knows, but Ethereum is actually coming from Switzerland. It's a Swiss crypto from Zug. And of course, the Swiss mountains. So this is what people normally knows that, what is Switzerland about? How many knows actually that it is one of the low tax country? It's a tax haven. We are talking about a corporate income tax on an average effective tax rate between 11.9% to 21.6% only. Depending upon the canton, for example, Zug being the cheapest, like the lowest one, not the cheapest, the lowest one is 11.9%. And of course, the effective tax rate can still come down with the benefits which the Swiss government provides. So this is definitely a tax haven. Tax principle. There are a lot of companies, I will say global companies, who has created their tax principal legal entity in Switzerland for the tax advantage. Because of the low tax, it makes sense that when you are doing a trading and activities, for example, it can be anything. I mean, Tupperware was one of the best example. We were not producing in Switzerland. We were buying from the plants and we were selling across the market. So it makes more sense to sell via Swiss entity than the local entity and move technically all profit here. Global trading hub. And because of the tax principle, this is becoming one of the biggest global trading hubs. The benefit of Switzerland is the international reach out. Thanks to the major DTAA agreements, it is quite easy to do business in Switzerland. And of course, with the repatriation of the profit, dividends, etc., it's very easy. And that's why most of the American companies, or let's say European companies, has their base in Switzerland. We are still not there for India, and I think we can cover this into our topic as well. We have another slides for that, but this can be one of the best opportunity, the Switzerland as a country to go internationally, and actually, and thanks to the tax haven. People always knows about Dubai, UAE, about the gold, but actually the highest, like the biggest transaction is actually happening in Switzerland. If you see the last year, the gold import and export, the volume was around $105 billion. CHF, one of my favorite topic. It's actually one of the strongest currencies in the world now, and it's growing. Quite unique. We have not seen that in another European country or anywhere else, that we have 4 official languages in Switzerland. Actually, if you look at Switzerland as a on a map as a country, Switzerland is one of the smallest country in Europe, but it has 4 official languages. International reach out, and as well as the gateway to EU. Switzerland is not part of European Union, and that's why you don't see euro currency here. We have our own currency, Swiss francs, but at the same time, Switzerland has agreements with EU, which gives a lot of benefit. Quite high standard of living. Of course, it comes with a high cost of living in Switzerland. Already mentioned Crypto Valley. I actually want to start with CHF as a currency, because what happens is that most of the people, they think that if the currency is at a risk, it does not make sense to do any investments. We don't talk about setting up our entity there. So that's why, the currency always plays the vital role in selection of the country when we want to do expansion. For example, I'm showing currently the overview of the last 10 years just to show what has happened in CHF, compared to, for example, US dollar. We are talking about 21.7% growth over last 10 years. We talk about euro, we are talking about 16.8% growth. We're talking about GBP now, 40% growth in last 10 years. And of course, Indian rupees, 61.8%. So CHF has shown that this is one of the strongest currencies in the world. We have a lot of inflows around the globe in Switzerland, thanks to even the gold. And also, whenever there is a panic in the market, Switzerland is considered as one of the heavens, to park the money. So that's why, the corporates or the HNIs, UHNIs, they always select Switzerland as the preferred country over the other countries. Yep. So, as I mentioned before, Switzerland has actually four official languages. When we talk about German part, we talk about from Zurich to Bern. We call it a German part. 72% it covers, and this is the majorly spoken language. When you go on the French side, which is Geneva, Lausanne, Montreal, Fribourg, it's a French language which is official. So, for example, when you are discussing or when you are having entities on the French side, all the legal documents, government documents, contracts, everything is in French. Also, your invoices, your accounting, this is in French language. So they are using the software. Of course, that can be converted into English, when we are using the same kind of. So as I mentioned, Switzerland has four official languages. So German is one of the biggest one, which covers almost 75% of the region. We have 21% in French and Italian. And a bit now, there are hardly any cantons which speak this language, which is Romansh. Okay, this is not spoken at all. So when we talk about Romansh, people only talk in German or Romansh. Um, as Switzerland shares the border with four countries, so when we on the French side in Geneva, we share the border with France. Zurich till here, Graubünden and all these cities, cantons and cities, we share the border with Germany and Austria. That's why it's a German language dominance. And in the south, we are sharing the border with Italy. That's why it's Italian language. So we have four different languages. So it's not that easy when we are dealing with Switzerland. We need to at least know one language, and I always go with German because that covers major part of the country. So we only discuss about Switzerland, okay? A simple thing, right? What is Switzerland? What are the languages? What it is famous for? So now we can concentrate on what are we going to discuss today for non-practicing chartered accountants, for practicing chartered accountants, TEPA, one of my favorite topics now, and a trading hub. Why the Switzerland is one of the biggest trading hub. We will discuss three important topics, right? For the non-practicing chartered accountant, the employees who are working in a big four or they are working in a normal industries, there are opportunities for these CAs, of course, to come to Switzerland, to move to Switzerland, to migrate to Switzerland for a better opportunities. So we have an opportunity. Indian CAs are recognized here as well in Switzerland. It's not mandatory to study further or get a Swiss CPA or something like that. So it's quite easy for Indian CA. They can, with their experience, they can actually move to Switzerland and they can start working immediately. That is possible. Where can we work? Now that's a question. People are always asking, what can I do? Audit. When we have four different languages, How will it work? Will I be able to understand? Will I be able to go and speak with the clients, when they're only speaking these languages like German or French, let's say, and maybe Italian on the Italian side? So, if you're moving for Big Four, and we have lot of CAs actually moving from Big Four here to Switzerland, and we also have committee members, who can actually give more insights about how they actually moved to Switzerland, from, let's say, Deloitte's, PwC, ENY, or KPMG. So it is possible, and I have seen people actually doing that. There are a couple of English speaking clients as well. It's possible. So if you go for a big companies, let's say Glencore, for example, you go to ABB, you are going to Roche, Novartis, these Nestle, these are giants. There are opportunities where, we can actually perform audit. It's possible. The client speaks English, so it's also possible. And I don't see a reason why, integrate with the culture of Switzerland. And when in the future, it makes also easy for them to go and speak to the local clients. Okay, when I say local clients, I had seen they are only talking in German, or they are only speaking technically in French or Italian. So it's possible. Of course, there are non-client facing tasks as well, which can be performed. Um, Everything is fine. So this is for the Big Four. We talk about multinational companies. There are a lot of multinational companies. They are also recruiting for internal audits or SOX audit or consulting. So if you talk about audit, it's not only restricted to Big Four, but it is also possible that you can actually move to Switzerland via any multinational companies. For example, Johnson and Johnson, it's possible. You have Unilever, Roche, Novartis, they have a big client, big base in India. So if you're working there, it's possible to find jobs here in Switzerland for these companies. It's again an English-speaking English-speaking company. So it's possible that there are opportunities. So you don't need to only target Big Four, but there are other companies where actually you can find something here in audit. Finance. Apart from auditors, there are a lot of jobs actually where Indian CAs are recognized. For example, finance controllership, finance manager, regional controllers, directors, finance directors, FP&A, and of course anything regarding finance. It's possible. And there are a lot of job across all the sectors. So I mean, for most of the companies where they have a tax base here, they are always looking for this kind of talents. And with the experience, it's possible to find job. Most of these jobs are English speaking jobs. Consulting. Indian CAs can also find jobs in a consulting firm. There are quite a few here as well. BCG, Big Fours, all the Big Four, they are in consulting. Of course, BCG, McKinsey, Bain, Roland Berger, and Oliver Wyman. They are slightly local. There are different opportunities as well for management consulting, financial consulting, transformation expert, and now one of the biggest one which is growing is sustainability and ECG consulting. There are a lot of requirements, and we are not able to find the talents here for the last one, so ECG consulting. So if you have this experience and if you're looking to move to Switzerland, it is quite possible. You need to apply for the job in this particular firm. Either you can move internally or you can apply for the roles, and there are very high chances it can work out. So this is a three basic area. These are the three basic area: audit, finance, and consulting, where actually it is possible to move. When I'm discussing this kind of things, people are always asking questions. What about the salary? Can we survive here? We always hear that Switzerland is actually very costly, right? Anyone who has been to Switzerland, they find Switzerland actually a really costly because of high standard of living, plus it's a high cost of living. So it's possible that, I mean, it's expensive. There's no doubt in that. And if you look at the top 10 costliest cities, Switzerland is always number one or between one to three. But when you're working locally, the Swiss salaries are quite good, if I be honest to you. So the Swiss salary ranges are quite good. I just give you a typical range so you get an idea that, if you are looking for a role, what kind of salaries you are looking for, and, like, can you survive? And if I be honest, anything about 100,000, it's definitely possible to survive in Switzerland. It's 100,000 CHF, which is more than 1 CR currently. And don't forget, the tax rate is not 30% here. The tax rate for the employees ranges between, I will say, 7 to 22%, something like that, depending upon the salary level. So with the high cost of living, the salaries are also quite high in Switzerland. Okay. People are always saying, how can we move here? They're always asking, I mean, can I move? Is it possible? What about the visa? How can I get a sponsorship? How can I do my internal movement? Like, do I need to approach someone, or, or do I need to find a job? Is it really easy? Or, I mean, it's a nightmare, like other countries where you need to go for approval, it takes 6 months, etc. And how to search a job? This is really important for the people who really actually want to move as a non-immigration visa. When we say non-immigration visa, is actually for the people who are looking for jobs in Switzerland. Switzerland provides non-immigration visa, so we have a chance, especially for the non-European Union and IFTA countries, which is actually India. So India is treated as a non-EU and IFTA country. Now, there are two kind of permits or residence permits in Switzerland. One is L permit, which is a temporary, which is a short-term residence, which is 4 to 12 months only. And another one is B permit, which is for a longer duration, which is more than 12 months. Normally, people come on L permit and they convert themselves to the B permit. Of course, it has to be done by a company. Individual cannot do that. We have limits on this visa. So for example, for the residence permit L, the quota is only 4,000. So only 4,000 L permits are issued during the year. And for the B permit, only 4,500 permits are issued during the year. Of course, it's first come, first serve basis. So when most of the companies, I will say that if they want to apply, they start their process in Q1 to ensure that they get the allotment. Now, when we are in the Q3, Q4, the chances are quite low. And of course, it depends upon the canton. So when I say cantons, cantons means state in Switzerland. So it depends upon the state. So 4,000, let's say we talk about L permit. So it's not that 4,000 L permits are for one canton or two cantons. These 4,000 permits are divided across all the cantons. So for example, in Zug, let's say the allotment is, let's say, 500 visas, 500 permits. If they are finished, then the companies can find a way to apply in Zurich, for example. But whatever happens for the country, on a country level, we have a limit on these permits. This permit is not only for India, it's for everyone outside European Union. So India, China, you name the countries, including US, UK, because that's not EU anymore. So all the countries, major part of this permits, honestly, it goes to the IT professional because of the onshoring and offshoring model. But that does not mean that we don't have a chance. We definitely have a chance. The companies, when they are looking for the right people, they're happy to apply for the permits, happy to pay a good salary, of course, and they manage the whole visa process. But don't forget, sponsorship has to come from the companies. We talk about internal movements now. The most easy way to come to Switzerland on a non-immigration visa is via internal movement. The current employer, PwC, KPMG, EY, Deloitte's BDO, they are one of the biggest firms who are actually bringing a lot of Indian CAs. Okay, and I've seen a lot of people coming actually recently. So if you're working in this four or five firms, it is possible that you can find an opportunity here and you can actually move. Visa sponsorship is required, so you have to also ensure that they sponsor the visa. So even if you apply the job and if they say that they cannot sponsor the visa, unfortunately that is not possible. You cannot apply for your own visa. That is not possible. I mean, mostly they start with the non-client facing opportunities, and then they always promote, and you can go forward with the client facing opportunities. It can be consulting, it can be audit, any kind of big four work, or in corporates like ABB, GE, J&J, anything is possible. Okay, and all these companies which you see, ABB, GE, Johnson, they have quite a big base in Switzerland, so they have high chances or high probability that they can sponsor the visa and they can bring the right talent, and they're always looking for right talent. They're always looking for right talent. So when you look for the job search engines you will see that there are opportunities in these particular companies. Job search. So we understand, okay, we can move. Internal control, visa, internal movement, it's possible. Now the question is, what about the job search? How do I know what jobs are available in the market? How can I apply for this role? What are the requirements I have to see when, I apply for the role? So the two major job search engine in Switzerland is Jobs.ch, uh, jobs.ch, and another is LinkedIn, which is, I think, now commonly used in India as well. So if you want to search for a job, you look into these two places and you will see most of the job. Jobs.ch is a search engine, so it will be able to find all the job across the market at one place. And of course, try LinkedIn. LinkedIn is also quite widely used now, so it is possible that you might find something with an easy apply and everything. It is quite easy now. Companies requirements. Oh, that's wrong. Yeah, companies requirements. Always look for the company's requirement. Is English only the language mentioned? If it says German and English mandatory or French and English mandatory, chances are very high that your application will be rejected. Second, check if it's a visa or a sponsorship job. Visa sponsorship job, sorry. The reason is that sometime the company already mentioned that we will not be able to sponsor the visa. So you already get an idea that in this particular role, we are not getting any sponsorship from the company. So in my opinion, don't waste your time, don't create CV, don't apply for the role. And of course, you can see if it's a remote or on-site. Normally, these are all on-site job. Switzerland is moving back to the on-site job, and I'm expecting by in 2026 we will definitely have minimum 3 days working on-site. Some companies has already done 4 to 5 days, but from next year we will see actually most of the companies, corporates, aligning with each other and getting all the people back on site. So this is going to happen from the next year for sure. It will take, let's assume that everything goes fine, your interviews and everything, it will take 2 to 3 months for the visa processing time. Language, I will suggest that once everything is fine and it looks, yes, you're going forward, learn languages in India. If you're going in a German side, start learning German. That will really help you to integrate and to work here in Switzerland. And if you're on French side, I will suggest start learning French. Good news is, if when you are moving here, you can move with a family, and also your spouse can work with a B permit. So if you have a L permit, it is not possible, but as soon as you get a B permit, your spouse can actually start working. She can apply for the role, he can apply for the role here once you move here, and like a normal employee, the spouse can work here. Now, B permit requirement is very simple. You need to have a job. If you lose a job by XYZ reason, and you don't have a new job, let's say, and you have to renew your permit, it might be rejected and you might have to go to India back. So B permit does not guarantee that you will stay in Switzerland forever. After 5 years of holding B permit in Switzerland in the same canton, you have a chance to apply for a C permit, which is like a green card. And with the C permit, actually, you can stay here forever. So C permit is actually a permanent residentship. And here with the B permit, it's only for 1 year. And if you have an employee, you can continue for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, does not matter. So employment is really needed when you have a B permit. C permit, you can even start your business. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Because B permit requires sponsorship or tie with a company, whereas in C permit, you don't have any requirement for any sponsorship or anything. You can do a job, you can do business, whatever you want to do here. So it's important that after 5 years, the first thing needs to be done is move from B permit to C permit. And after the C permit, of course, passport is the next thing. One more thing actually is education. Let's say you don't want to move internal movements, you don't want to find a job, but you want to study and you want to settle here after you're finishing your studies. It is possible. If you're looking for universities, there are universities which offer courses in English. Not everyone does it, by the way. Not all the universities offers courses in English. So there are only few. So whenever you want to apply, definitely all the MBAs, they are in English. If you're looking for the right universities, they are ETH, IMD Lausanne, University of Bonn. It's quite famous as well, and University of St. Gallen. So these are the universities um, which have courses. They offer courses in English. So it is possible to move here. Of course, there are costs because these are higher educations, they are masters. So there is a cost. It ranges between 45,000 to 150K CHF for the whole course. So it depends upon what kind of course you are doing. Is it a master's? Is it an MBA? It depends. Okay. And of course, you have to check if all these universities offer courses in English. Good news is that when you're doing masters or any education here, internship or part-time work is possible. They're limited hours. I forgot, it's around 10 or 15 something per week, something like that. But it is possible to do a part-time job or internship. That is possible. The rules in Switzerland are strict. For example, in US or if you go to another countries, there are chances where, people, they are working. For example, they are studying and they're also working and they don't respect the working hours. In Switzerland, that is not possible. Everything is controlled. Everything is transparent here, including your pay. Everything is transparent. So that's why if they allot you, let's say 10 hours per week or something, or 15 hours per week, you cannot work more than that specific hours permitted. This is really important. So that's it for the people who are actually looking for jobs in Switzerland. I will suggest look for the jobs if you're looking to move abroad, and Switzerland is your choice of country. So you have to first check if you can you move. Is it possible to move with your internal movement in your own company? Is it possible or not? If not, then look for the jobs which I mentioned on the jobs.ch or on LinkedIn. Look if these companies are able to sponsor your visa. If not, there is no way you can move to Switzerland, unfortunately. So visa sponsorship is the first thing you have to look for. Everyone's favorite topic. Right now, we're talking about the practicing chartered accountants who have settled, like established their own firms, practice in India. And I have seen that now, like as Mr. Rajesh mentioned, there are a lot of CAs, especially the young CAs now, they are actually looking for the outsourcing work. India is one of the biggest outsourcing hub right now. If you talk about companies like Nestle, UBS, CBRE, Roche, they have a big outsourcing, or let's say shared service center in India. So India is one of the preferred shared service location for giants, MNCs. Earlier it was Poland and Hungary. So if you're talking about the European companies, the first choice is always Europe. It's easy to find local speaking people there. So for example, German and French, it's possible because in Poland in school, German, French is also one of the languages that been taught, and it's compulsory, it's mandatory. So that's why they always look for the people in Poland and Hungary. Now, what is happening is that because there are a lot of shared service center, it has also created a risk. So, so employees are moving for a small amounts between, they are jumping within the, within the companies, or they are just resigning and they are creating a hosted situation. Also, it's quite difficult to find the right CPAs, accountants in these countries. So because of that, what is happening is now people are thinking, the Swiss MNCs, I will say only Switzerland, they are now thinking either to move to India or bring back everything back to Switzerland. So this is one of the risk I see when we talk about outsourcing model. The quality is always compromised, and this is the first thing the Swiss companies will never do, is the quality. India is now the preferred destination, right? People are looking to establish their shared services in India, but not all. Because to establish a shared service in India, you need to have at least, I will say, 50 to 100 employees when we talk about shared service center. Recently, KPMG is establishing their own shared service center in India only for audit in Gurgaon. That will only do the back office work of audit. So PBC list items creation, all the documentations, everything is taken here, on the shared drive, and all the audit work is done actually in India. So here they only need a partner and an audit manager who is actually facing the clients. Apart from that, everything is done in India, and their plan is to move at least 200 to 300 people over the next 2 years. So this is new thing now. So it's not only the accounting and payroll or other kind of outsourcing, but also audit can be an option for the people who are already in outsourcing business. Audit can be performed from India. It is possible. To start with Switzerland, everyone needs to understand the market. So Switzerland is actually 99% SMEs, where there are less than 250 employees working. I be honest to you, the turnover can go up to 1 billion. Okay. So SMEs, that doesn't mean that, their turnover is only 20, 50, 100 million. No, it can go to billion as well. And even in SMEs, you have two kind of, again, separation where you're looking for less than 49 employees and more than 50 employees. So up to 250, and then they still categorize between the small scale industries and medium scale industries. The issue with these SMEs is that they require limited number of accountants. Now, for 49 or 50 employees, they are not going to hire 5 accountants. That is definitely not possible. So we are talking about here one or two accountants only for a company, or if it's a very small entity, less than 49 or maybe 20 people, then what they do is they get their accounting done from the CA, the local CA. We call it Buchhaltung in Switzerland. So the focus of outsourcing is always for the SMEs who have more than 50 employees and who actually require large number of accountants. When I say accountants, AR, AP, everything, OTC, the whole process can be actually outsourced. In Switzerland also, the entities are looking for cost saving, and India can be one of the countries where actually we can see a huge potential of cost saving for these entities. So there is chance. There is, of course, it's new in the market for the SMAs. So there is a huge possibility that Indian CS can benefit here, all the practicing chartered accountants. We have to take care of a couple of things. For example, documents. Documents are majorly in the three languages in Switzerland. They are not in English. They can be in English if they are coming from abroad. But if you are talking about accounting of the local invoices, local documents, they are in German, French, or Italian. Local tax VAT knowledge is required. It's quite simple, okay? But it's important that we understand how the local tax and the VAT works in Switzerland. With the SMEs, there is a slight possibility that the local team only communicates in these three languages. They don't speak English, and it is possible. For this, I always recommend that if you are focusing on outsourcing, either you train your employees, in for these languages, or you hire a translator or an official translator. When you have a meeting with the client, you always involve them, so they are able to talk in German or in French or Italian. That will help you. Of course, outsourcing, everything can be outsourced. AR, AP, OTC, R2R, the whole process can be outsourced. Payroll is easy. It's possible. There are ERPs in Switzerland which can be managed from India. Uh, GDPR compliance issues are there, but that can be resolved. There are ways how to resolve these issues. So payroll is also possible to process it in India. Tax, I will suggest that it is different. In Switzerland, if you want to get some documents signed for tax, for example, we need a tax certified expert. So, for example, in Switzerland, we don't have a CPA who can do the tax. So the tax fiduciary expert is a different, we call it fiduciary, and the CPA is different. They are not the same person. Whereas in India, actually a CA can do that, but in Switzerland, that is not possible. So for the tax related activities, it is important to keep it local because they understand the law. If there is any problem with the tax authorities, the Swiss person actually has to interact directly with the tax authorities. And tax authorities talk only in the local language. So for example, if you're on German side, they will only talk in German. They might not even talk in French or Italian. So that's why I say that when it comes to the tax part, I always say that, leave it with the Swiss people here they are the experts. They know the departments, income tax department, and for example, VAT, tax, all the kind of departments here. So it's better to keep tax here. But apart from that, everything can be outsourced, including financial analyst, finance controllership. That is also possible now. The controllership can be done from anywhere. You don't need to be physically here in the same country. So outsourcing not only for accounting, but think from the finance perspective as well. It is possible. What you need is a local partner in Switzerland. Why? They want to see the face. They don't want to talk with you on Teams or on Zoom call. They want to see the face. They want to sign the contract with the local entity. The reason is simple. If tomorrow anything goes wrong, they can take a legal steps against the local entity. They know very well how the Indian law, the judiciary works. So that's why they don't want to go into that kind of issues. So they are saying that I want a local partner, I need a local firm. So if you are big, you want to do outsourcing in Switzerland, the first step is establish a local GmbH. That should be the first step. Second step is start sending emails, reach out to the firms, reach out to the companies, send the emails. Emails should not be in German, should not be in English language. It should be in German, French, or Italian, depending which regions you are targeting. So you have to make sure that the emails are properly drafted. Do not use Google Translate or anything. Hire a language expert. These guys, they understand, the words. They understand that, is it a Google Translate email, or is it like done by professionally translator? So hire a translator, get it done the email correctly, send them the email, and fix a meeting where you can actually come here. You have a local text, local partner, or you should visit Switzerland when you are fixing a meetings with the clients. That will actually build trust. Switzerland is still, how can I say, is still a old school country. When I say an old school country, means that they're still looking for handshakes. They're still looking to, sit on a table and discuss the terms with the parties. Contracts have been sent, that's all fine. But they're still looking, they still want to make sure that you are here. You have a legal entity here. So if you start sending emails right now from India and say let's create a legal entity later on, chances are high that they might not entertain. If you are locally registered, they can just go on the websites like Zafix, for example. They can see if you are established or you're not established. If you're established, your details are there, it's fine. That's a first step of trust. Now, the second step is that they will send you an email, you discuss out, you fly here, you talk to them, and get the deal finalized. That's how it works in Switzerland. And that's how the outsourcing model also works. As I mentioned to you, outsourcing, don't restrict yourself with the accounting only. You can actually do the audits. Audits can be outsourced as well. All the verifications, sample verifications, PBC list items, everything can be done from India. Preparing the financial statements as well can be done from India. So this can be another opportunity or another area where an Indian CAs, practicing CAs, can step in and say, hey guys, we can also do this kind of job here. Transfer price local files, we can do it from India. We don't need the local tax advisors doing these things here. So it is possible. So don't restrict yourself with on the accounting. Expand your scope. Signed financial statements can be in 3 or 4 languages. It depends upon your client. They can request in German or English. Sometimes they request in German and English, French and English, or in French. Italian is Italian only or English. So it depends, how we do it. And that's why it's important that you have someone in your team who speaks local language, like one of the 3 languages, or you hire a official translator, to help you out with these financial statements and everything. Swiss gap, very easy. It's one of the most flexible gap I had ever seen. It's very simple to learn. It can technically, if you look at one financial statement or something, you will learn it. There is nothing complex in Swiss gap. It's very adaptive. So I never said Swiss gap is a obstacle, is a problem. It's nothing. It's very easy actually. Languages, again, the same thing, guys. I know I'm repeating myself for the languages, but this is one of the most important thing in Switzerland. Consulting. I remember we discussed that, what kind of consulting we can do. Investments. for our clients. It's possible. Now, when you talk about Switzerland, actually the Treuhand, which is a CAs, they actually manage everything for their client. They are the one who are deciding about the succession planning. They are the one who are deciding about shall we do uh, like trading abroad? Shall we expand? So these are the guys actually, they are the right hand of the owners, and they are the one who are consulting. They don't go to the legal firms or someone first. So these are the guys who say, yes, let's do this, let's do that. Can we plan succession planning? Can we do the family office setup here? What kind of investment shall we do? This is all done by the local Treuhand, which is the chartered accountants here in Switzerland. When we talk about succession planning, this is one of the biggest issue the Europe is facing right now. So all the family offices, and as you have seen, we have most of 99% of the total industry is SMEs. The new generation, they are not looking to continue the business. So what happens is that either they have to close down the business or they are looking for a successor. That person can be from anywhere. It can be from Switzerland, it can be from Europe, it can be from India. So with the succession planning, there are very high chances that this will actually increase the M&A activities. Also, for the people who are looking to divert their businesses, they can also look for this kind of business where it's already set up, everything is there, nothing to do, like how can I say, like no need to start from zero, and technically they can take over these kind of companies. Now, you will see that in next 5 years, this industry for succession planning will grow. This area will grow for sure. Another is family office. In Switzerland, there are a lot of family offices. The reason is simple, because of the tax haven, transparency, and second thing, investment opportunities. From Switzerland, once the fund is in Switzerland, the KYC AML is completed properly, everything is there. It's quite easy to move your fund from Switzerland. So that's why, people are buying properties in UK or in Switzerland or in Europe. They're actually preferring family office in Switzerland. EMEA expansion. For your clients, if you are, say, like if they are already concentrating on India currently and they say, let's do EMEA, it's possible. Switzerland is one of the best choice for that. It's a gateway to Europe. So with Switzerland, you have a tax benefit, you can repatriate the cash easily, and of course you can expand in the whole Europe market. When I say family offices, there's another part which is UHNI. So sometimes the UHNIs, ultra high net worth individuals, they are not setting up the family offices, but they would like to invest. It can be anything. It can be properties, it can be investment in companies or equities, hotels, etc. So this kind of consulting is also possible. This is one of the biggest market, in fact, in Switzerland with the UHNIs. Tax corporate structure. We have another slide for that to go in detail. But when we have the Swiss company registered in Switzerland, and when we are holding in India, it actually helps to actually grow not only in EMEA, but also across the world in US and all the other markets. Because Switzerland has quite a few actually DTAA with these countries. Trading entities, I already mentioned that if you have a client who is already in trading, Switzerland is one of the best options. The global companies are doing this. So, if you are working with your client very closely, then, it makes more sense to set up a trading entity in Switzerland. So whenever you are actually selling, your client is actually, trading outside India, then it makes more sense to actually trade from Switzerland. So Switzerland is buying from India, and then the Swiss entity is actually selling to these countries. It makes more sense from the tax perspective. Once you're in Switzerland, it is recognized by everyone, the whole world, okay? And they trust the Swiss process, the financial compliances and everything. So in my opinion, it makes sense, that if your client is in trading, convince them, help them, to establish their trading activities here. So what kind of companies can be formed in Switzerland? Because we always say, okay, let's get a trading entity established in Switzerland. But what can we do here? Is it possible? What is the total expense? How much investment we need for setting up the company? Do we need local representative? Can I sit in India and manage the company? The answer is yes. There are two kind of legal entities in Switzerland. We call it GmbH and another is AG. So GmbH is everyone creates a GmbH in Switzerland because it's like a private limited company, but there is a slightly difference between a private limited company and GmbH. In India, we have public, private, and LLC. So it's like a LLC. Share capital required is 20,000 CHF, whereas in AG, we need around 100,000 share capital CHF. Now, this is only as if we do it in India, this is only a share capital. So all the expenses for establishing the entities and everything can actually be paid from there. Liability, of course, it's limited to the capital. So if there are legal cases, if there are any issues, your liability is only restricted to the share capital contributed, not more. So your personal assets are not attached to this liability. Founders, it can be an individual or it can be a company, one or more. Same stays with both of them, GmbH and AG. Audit, for AG, mostly it's mandatory, mostly depending upon the revenue and structure and all, but we'll say generally it's mandatory. Now, there are two kind of audits we have in Switzerland. We have a limited scope audit and a full scope audit. So there are requirements about 20 million assets and 40 million sales. If it's lower, then you can do a limited audit, limited scope audit, or you need a full-fledged audit. So audit depends upon three factors: your balance sheet, your total of the balance sheet, so assets and liabilities, your total revenue, and number of employees. So if there are more than 250 employees or less than 250 employees. So these are the three criteria which are actually, how can I say, these are the three criteria to actually determine if what kind of audit you require. Ownership. Now, this is quite interesting. When you go for a GmbH, the owner of the GmbH is publicly visible. So if I invest in a GmbH, I set up a GmbH, you can actually search my name and you will see which companies are linked to my name. When I do a AG, a limited company, it's not possible. Owners are not public. The information is not shared. So you will not know who is actually the real owner of this company, AG. I'm talking about a private limited. Public is a different story, but we're talking about a private limited. So when we talk about a private limited AG, owners are not visible anywhere. Especially when you talk about GmbH, you can see who is the owner, who is the director, you can see everything there. Now, one of the most mandatory thing in both the companies is you need a local director. Why? If something goes wrong, the Swiss authority needs someone to put it in a jail or technically be held liable, let's be said, like to be held liable. That's why it's important just to have one director. The director is not the owner of the company, he's just a director, like an employee who is actually responsible. So he has to make sure, a director has to make sure that all the compliances are followed, all the government dues are paid on time, there is no issues on the payroll, etc., etc. And that person is also liable when you go for closure of the company. Then this person is the one who is actually managing the whole shutdown and everything. So that's why they need a local director here. How it works? The first step, what we normally do is client consultation. We need to understand what kind of entity they are planning, what kind of tax planning, what kind of structure we are looking for. There is a first thing before you start deciding, do you want a GmbH or an AG? The second thing is the capital deposit. So once you decide what you want to do, UBS is one of the easiest to bank right now, where they open a share capital account. This is only a share capital account where you have to deposit 20,000 and 100,000 CHF as a share capital. Once you deposit the capital in the account, they give you a certificate that capital has been deposited, and that capital now can move either back to you if the company is been technically rejected, or it can directly go into your bank account once your commercial register entry has been done. Okay, you cannot withdraw the money directly from the capital deposit now. So it's like a escrow account. So after the capital deposit, the notarization, article of association, incorporation deed is prepared by the notary, notarized, sent it to the commercial register for the entry. I think we call it register of companies in India. So we have the similar kind of setup here. And once the company is registered, once the company's name, you can see it online. We have a website called Zefix, Zefix. You can see the name of the companies here. And once the company is registered here, then of course you open the bank account, and based on the bank account, you can move your share capital back to your bank account. So these are the four simple steps when we are looking to create a company. I see a couple of questions coming on the chat. Let's do one thing. Let's complete the slides, and then we can concentrate on the question. Sorry. Okay, so that's how the company can be incorporated. It's quite easy. In Switzerland, it's not a rocket science, and when you are based in India, it is possible. So that is the answer. What you need is only a domicile address here in Switzerland and a director. These two are the mandatory requirements. Bank account can be a virtual bank account based in any other place, or UBS, or with UBS, any other bank. It is possible. Swiss VAT structure. Now, when we're talking about the companies, people are always looking at the VAT structure. Okay, what kind of VAT we have? A lot of companies, countries, there are more than 20%. Like if you look at Europe, it is more than 20% on an average, 19 to 22, 25%, depending upon the country. But Switzerland VAT system is actually really advantageous for the businesses due to its low rate. We're only talking about 8.1% standard VAT, which applies to most goods and services. 3.8 is for the accommodation, hotels and restaurants, I think. And the 2.6% is for the food stuff, groceries, books, and medicine. So there are only three rates, not a rocket science. It's quite easy to manage this. And it's one of the lowest one. And if your entity, so once you set up a GmbH or AG and your domestic turnover is more than 100,000 CHF, then VAT registration is mandatory. I always recommend people to register VAT because there are a lot of invoices and the legal audit fees, etc., which will come. So it makes sense to register for the VAT and reclaim this VAT back, even though your turnover is 100,000 or not. VAT can technically be filed in every quarter, or there is a chance you can do once in a year. So when your turnover is not big, let's say 5 million or less than 5 million, you don't have a big VAT, then I suggest that do a yearly VAT return instead of doing it quarterly. So this is how we talk about, for the non-practicing chartered accounts, that, you can also set up your company, as a CA firm, or you can also help your clients to set up their company. So both of the things are possible, right? Now we talk about TEPA agreement. I'm not sure how many heard about this agreement which India recently signed with Switzerland. So it was signed last year, but it will be effective. It has we cleared that in the parliament recently. So we will have this go live in October 2025. It took 16 years of negotiation. So it was not easy with the countries like Switzerland, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein. These four countries are not European. It's not part of European Union. It is part of Europe, but we are not part of European Union. That's why there is already an agreement with India and the Europe, but the agreement with these four countries was missing. And that's why it took a lot of time to actually identify the potential how India and Switzerland can work together, or India and Norway, Liechtenstein, Iceland. and then, like how to frame it. So Mr. Piyush Goyal was here recently, and we also discuss about how a CAs be part of this agreement, especially the Zurich chapter, and all our Indian CAs who are actually practicing in India. Liechtenstein is a very small country in Switzerland, but we still call it a separate country. The overall deal, the overall agreement is around 100 billion over 15 years. Now, when we talk about $100 billion, we are excluding here the FDIs. So FDIs are not part of this deal. We are only talking about trading. When we talk about trading, we are talking about any kind of trades, pharmaceuticals, machineries, equipments, agricultural, chocolates, watches, anything, but it has to be a trading. If you're just looking at the total volume between the two countries, it stood around 17 billion. Of course, there's a gold, which is a major part of it. But India is exporting, around 1.3 billion only currently. That's why we have a deficit currently. Whereas India is importing the highest number, actually the highest volume of gold from Switzerland. And we, of course, are looking, to make sure that, we actually are balanced out, taking excluding gold out. Okay, we are not talking about gold here, so we exclude the gold, and we are only talking about the non-gold items actually. If you look at the total volume of the machineries and pharmaceuticals, coal, etc., you can see the total volume which is normally traded. Machinery, pharma companies, watches, oil, chocolates, between Switzerland, Swiss chocolates. Now we can see there are a lot of like Ashback, there are good companies, Lind, they're also establishing themselves in India to target the Indian clients. So it is happening. In the contrary, we also want to make sure that we are exporting, gems, jewelry, machinery, textiles, apparels to Switzerland, and we should increase it. So the whole idea about the TEPA agreement is to give benefits to the Indian exports. Also give an advantage to the Swiss industries to come to India, find the right joint venture partner, or to actually establish themselves and do the production in India, target the Indian market or the world or Asia from India. This is the real reason of the TEPA agreement. Under TEPA agreement, 92 to 95% of Indian exports, which we currently have with Switzerland, will get duty-free or preferential access to this market. So duty will be abolished. That's good. For example, for agriculture or let's say for textile, it's very minimal, or I think it's going to zero. And of course, there will be some preferential given for these particular products from India. Just a short overview. Pharma and biotech, definitely we are increasing. I see that a lot of Indian companies now they are establishing themselves in Switzerland. I didn't see that previously. I'm living in Switzerland since 15 years. But if I talk about last 2 years, I can see there are a lot of companies, either they are establishing from zero or they are actually buying the Swiss companies out. Textile, apparel, and leather. Of course, there is a brand polishing. We call it like a made in India branding in Europe. This is also another focus currently. And engineering, machinery, industrial goods. India has a lot of potential for manufacturing machineries, industrial goods in India because of low, I won't say cheap labor, I'll say uh, labor at the right price. Let's say like that. And of course, we have advantage of the vast country, land. So that's why it makes more sense to do it in India to perform the manufacturing activities in India compared to Switzerland. So that's why Switzerland is never a manufacturing hub. It's always a trading hub. Why we call it a trading hub, right? You heard that already. Strategic location. It's actually in middle of the Europe, right? We call it heart of the Europe. Easy access to EU. Switzerland has agreements with the European Union, so it makes the goods movement quite easy. And it acts for the global trade routes for finance, commodities, and logistic. Glencore, Trafigura, these are one of the biggest commodities traders in the world, and they are actually Swiss one. They are based in Switzerland, and there are another which are growing. Financing is also one of the most important aspect here when it comes to commodity. So financing is quite easy when you have your trading entity based in Switzerland. Financing are at a very good rates here, and because of the FINMA licenses, FINMA regulations, it is easy, I will say, compared to India. So the entities, the companies, they can take the advantage of financing from Switzerland as well. Political and economic stability. When we look for a country where you want to work, you're looking for political and economic stability. You don't want the person coming and says, from tomorrow, this is going to happen. From tomorrow, day after tomorrow, this is going to happen. You have seen what is actually happening currently in the market. So you want to work with the country who actually has a better political stability. And that's what the Switzerland is providing. Economic, you have seen the Swiss franc going up, right? Economy, of course, it's blooming. The GDP, it's, you can see, it's getting better and better. And of course, the low inflation. Normally, the inflation is one of the criteria which actually kills the market, and that's why we see here low inflation, which is close to zero. Going forward in Switzerland, we will have a negative interest rates. I'm not sure you guys heard about the negative interest rates, but negative interest rates means that when we keep the money in the bank account, we have to pay interest to the bank. In India, we are always saying, okay, how much interest we are getting from the bank. Like what is the FD rates? What are like 1-2% on saving, 5% on saving? Whereas in Switzerland, we are talking about giving the interest to the bank. So we had that before COVID, and now we are again coming back to the same level now, where it will be a negative interest rates. Business friendly environment. As I mentioned already, we have a competitive corporate tax rates in Switzerland. Legal system is very transparent, which protects the contracts and the investors. Chances are very high that you find your answers for your conflict in the contract itself or with the legal team. You don't have to go for cases every time. So that's how it gives you a legal advantage, and that is one of the reason why it is important. If you want to do a business or you're looking for outsourcing, it makes more sense that you set up your GmbH or AG in Switzerland. This not only protects you, but also it protects your client. So that's why I always suggest that, guys, establish yourself, look at it, and then try to actually go to the clients. Financial market. We have we call it Swiss exchange. I will be honest, it's not so dynamic like India, but it is steady. The risk is low. Of course, the return is low because of the risk, but it's not like our Indian market. The movement is quite minimal. You will see couple of stocks going at a steady pace, I will say. So that's how it's a better financial market as well. So if you're looking for investments, of course, Swiss can be for a longer period of time. Now, when we talk about trading hub, we are also talking about why we should establish ourselves. So you're looking at a CHF. So even if your money is in the bank account, there are ways how you can actually avoid negative interest rates. But at the same time, your actually value of your CHF is increasing, because if you are planning to move this back to India, actually you are not depreciating your currency, you're appreciating it. So that helps in the future. Investments are, of course, the investments is always in property or anywhere, it always goes up. So that also helps to actually uh, look into this particular area of investments, hotel investments or property investment, any other kind of apartments, multi-house. In Switzerland, we have this concept of Mehr family house. Mehr family house in the sense whole building. You can actually buy the whole building and rent it out. So this is possible. Going back to this is trading hub. Geneva, Zug, and Lugano. These are the global commodity centers for trading. Oil, metal, coffee, grains, gold, etc. Whatever you see right now in India as well, you have to assume that most of them are already have already been through Switzerland. Okay, it's not a physical movement. Of course, we are talking about build to and ship to concept here, but it is very high chances that it is been either Glencore, Vitol, or Trafigura. These are the three biggest commodity traders, and they are all based in Switzerland. And if your clients are also in trading, it makes sense to establish themselves here so that you can also take advantage of the other trading companies. And it's quite easy to do the trade when you both are in the same country. So that also helps for your clients if they're in trading activities. And don't forget international banks and insurance companies that support the trading. This is the best thing about commodity trading. You have everything at the doorstep here in Switzerland. So they will insure your activity. If there is any fraud or something, it can be insured. And also the whole, we call it the trading finance, right? The transaction. So that is also possible here. I mean, I don't think I have to talk about the world-class financial sector. Everyone knows about the financial infrastructure here. The banking tradition, it's a very strong banking tradition. We talked about the Swiss banks previously, the confidentiality as well as information sharing. So both things exist still. So there's a confidentiality as well. And if you're, for example, if you're GmbH or you are, let's say, HNI registered in Switzerland, of course, your information, your financial information is shared with India. That is a good part. It's transparent. But also, if you have a AG, if you are doing a business and everything, that kind of information is not shared with the authorities. Of course, it's a holding entity, holding company in India. It's a different story. But I'm just talking about, like, if you're set up as something here in Switzerland, you are doing your activities, you're doing a business here in Switzerland. Of course, that kind of data is not shared. Okay, we can go through the questions, and then I hope to see more questions coming up. Okay, I think the first question was how to approach them. If I understand correctly, this was for outsourcing business. Just one second. Okay, no, I think that is for the jobs. So for the jobs, you have to find a job, guys, in the market. You have to look for the job search. You have to see that it's possible. You submit your CV. Most of the cases, you will not be able to see an email ID of the person, but in Switzerland, there is a transparency. You can also see who has posted the job. There is a phone number mentioned. You can always reach out to them. You can call them and say, hey, listen, I'm in India. I have this experience. Will you be able to sponsor my visa? If they say yes, it's possible. Yes, feel free to apply. But it is possible. I mean, you can check it. You can always reach out to them directly. Again, the same question, how to find out the vacancies in Swiss where Indian CS can apply, the same kind of thing. Look for the jobs, guys. Whenever they say Swiss CPA or a CPA or accountant, you can apply. You don't need to stop yourself saying, I'm not a Swiss CPA. You can apply for these roles. Even if the requirement says CMA or a US CPA, don't restrict yourself. Feel free to apply for that. From bank, yes, it's possible. If you're working in banks, UBS, I mean, like if you work for 5-10 years in a banking, depending upon what you have done, there are chances. For example, UBS, it's one of the biggest bank now after the merger with Credit Suisse. So it's possible. It's possible even to move from the banks. The banking regulations are different, but I mean, it's possible to learn.
Shivang bhai, have you read the chat? There also there were some points posted.
I'm on the chat only.
Acha. And
Yeah.
one of the question was in Q&A also, one or two.
Okay, I will check it. Yeah. Okay, I'll check that. Okay. Okay, I think I have covered most of the questions for the job related. Okay, someone has asked a right question, which is what is the standard cost of a living per month in Switzerland? That's actually a very good question, guys. I mean, the cost of living is quite high. It depends. So where you are living. So I will say for your for a standard cost of living, what you definitely need. If let's say you are only coming as a couple, not with the kids. Okay, kids is a separate story because of the schooling and everything. But if you're coming as a couple, I will say you can target around 6 to 7K a month. That is your normal cost of living here in Switzerland. So it includes your rent, your transport, your grocery, some activities in Switzerland, of course, on to live a normal life. So with the salaries what you have seen previously, it is definitely possible to live comfortably here in Switzerland. And if your spouse can work, I think yeah, it's a good opportunity. Family of three, again, the thing is that what kind of like it's important to know, your child, is it like less than 3 4 years old, or is it like a 15 or 18? Because don't forget, if after kindergarten, we call it KG in India, it's quite difficult because it's the local school is free. But if you go to the international school, that costs you around 35,000 to 40,000 francs a year. So I don't recommend that if you're making 120,000 or 130,000, you can come here with a kid, because it will not be possible to survive when you have to spend 40K on one child, for the international schooling. If your kid is small, less than 3 years, then it's fine. You can move here, and then the kid will anyway pick up the language, everything, and go to the local school from kindergarten. That is not an issue. There is no limitation of age in Switzerland. But of course, I'll be honest, I mean, less than 45 or 50 is actually better. 45 is better because that also gives a sense of, how can I say, commitment to the company that, they know that you will stay here for more than 10 years. So less than 45 is, of course, the best thing. But even if you're 50, I have seen people moving at the age of 50s in a positions of VP, vice president, or a finance director, then of course it's possible because they also know that if you are at that particular level, you will not be 35 years of age. They know it. How to buy any property in Switzerland? So to buy a property, you don't need to be a Swiss to a citizen or anything. You can buy it from India. It is possible. There are different ways, so it depends upon where the property is. In some of the cantons, it is possible to directly buy the properties. There is a limit to that. For example, the limit is, let's say, you can buy only the property up to 200 square meter, which is around 2,000 square feet carpet area, something like that. Or there's another option is that you can actually establish a company and you can actually buy the apartment in the name of the company. That is also possible. So it depends upon the canton and about your budget.
Recordings and PPT we will upload on the WRC website. If you
Yes.
visit resource column, all participants can access recording link, which is YouTube link, and also the PPT, which is just presented by Shivang sir.
Mhm. How to invest in Swiss companies through 6 stock exchanges? For Indians, it's not possible because we are not allowed to directly do that from India. But if you want to invest in Swiss stock exchanges, you have to actually establish a company. There is no other way because Indians, as an Indian, I think it's not allowed to do that.
So the overseas regulation is saying so, or you're saying about Indian regulation restricting it?
I'm saying right now from the Indian regulation. So if Indian
No,
regulations
Indian
allow,
Shivang, now in the gift city they have allowed, like if
true.
you operate through gift city, you can buy any of the stock of abroad, provided local regulations are allowing.
Okay, for local, it's not a big issue for us in Switzerland. So local is fine, it's possible.
Then
We just have to see like if the gift allows you for the Swiss stock, because I know that they are doing some tie-ups right now, the agreements, but I'm not sure Six is already part of it.
BSC has started an international exchange at the
Okay,
gift city, and
okay,
through international exchange, I mean, depending upon those country,
okay,
it's allowed that an Indian can, open an account through international exchange and buy
okay,
a stock overseas.
okay,
Of
okay.
course, subject to whatever rules are there.
Yeah, okay. Donation, do we need any? Okay, that's fine. Any other degree than CA do outsourcing? No, you don't need any other degrees to do any outsourcing or any employee. CA is well recognized. The good news also is that there are a lot of Indian CAs who are in a management position in a lot of companies here. So that's how like people knows about Indian CA, the local crowd, they know about Indian CA, they know our capabilities, what we are capable of, and they also appreciate it. Okay, they respect us. So you don't need to do any studies or anything for outsourcing or even for the employees. That is not required. Okay, so this is a good question. I mean, person is a CA, wife is LLB. The thing is, in this particular case, what happens is that for CA it is easy. LLB, you need to learn the local law. Okay, most of the exams are in German. So I have to be honest, it's difficult. It's not impossible. You have to try. You have to go to the big legal firm, and then like definitely it's not a client-facing job, but of course, document preparations or other kind of things, it's possible. It's possible to move. And with the experience, I think you can always push for it for sure. Well, if you have around 10,000 gross salary per month, you can the deduction is around, let's say you always have to say, guys, it's around 10%. Okay, so it is your contribution, your social contribution, unemployment, accident insurance, your first and second pension funds. If you all do all this, you can take out 10% on an average. If you're on B permit, another 5 something, so around 15% you have to deduct it. So the net is actually in your hand. You don't need any other course for anything else, for controllership or anything. That is easy. Crypto. Okay, we can talk about crypto. Okay, we talk about crypto. So, it is legal. Okay, in Switzerland, it's legal actually to invest in crypto. Your tax wise also, it's quite friendly. So, the Swiss tax authorities, there is a way how to calculate the tax and all. So everything is legal in Switzerland. There are a lot of companies recently, they have started moving from Singapore and US to Switzerland just because of this reason. Okay. And I have seen even the investors. So for example, I know a couple of HNIs who actually invested in crypto long time ago, and now they want to do the trading. So I always recommend that, guys, you can always set up a company involved in the crypto trading, and then you can start trading your crypto here. So that's how you can bring your crypto. Of course, there is a KYC, AML, all the legal procedures to be followed, because in Switzerland, everything is controlled by FINMA, one of the financial regulations we have. And based on that, we can request for the licenses. It can be SRO. It can be. We have to see what kind of license we need for your particular case. But in my opinion, it makes more sense to establish your company here if you are in crypto, especially in Zug,
Sivan,
being a
we
crypto
can ask
asset.
Gilbert if he's available. Maybe we can take
Mhm.
maybe 2-3 hours session of Gilbert only on crypto.
Okay, I can check with Gilbert. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah,
point.
just check it and then maybe
It
let us know. There's some suitable day and date. We will have a similar session. So, friend,
Okay.
there's a colleague of Shivang over there who is into 100% only into crypto, and I met him during Switzerland visit. I think one of the person who worth inviting to these type of session only on crypto. So, Shivang, maybe you can check with Gilbert, and then maybe we can
Fine.
organize one day session.
Okay, fine. Okay, I can do that. I can talk to Gilbert. That's fine.
It will help, sir.
Okay, no, sure. I will
So
do
you'll get
that.
an international idea of that person who is already into 100% of crypto.
Okay, sounds good. I will talk to him and I get back to you by end of this week. Okay, let's do that. in next 2 or 3 days. I can check with him. Okay, we can do that. I think we have more questions, guys. Okay.
Is there any scope for oil and gas sector working CAs in
It's one of
Switzerland?
the biggest one. Yes, oil and gas sector is one of the biggest one in Switzerland for sure. So if you have that experience, first check if your company already has a setup. The chances are very high that they have already the setup here. If not, you have Glencore, you have Trafigura. These are the biggest one. So, and there are small, I will say, I have seen the companies which are in oil and gas sector or trading in commodities. You will see that there are 10 people sitting there, but the turnover is 1 billion, more than 1 billion turnover. So there is definitely a chance. You need to find the right companies. You need to present your CV. Make sure your CV. This is the one of the most important thing, guys. I forgot. CV. Make sure it's only one pager or maximum 2 page. You cannot have a 3 page CV. That is not allowed. It will take, in just 1 minute, the person should know are you worth or not. And if you're 3 page CV, it's immediately rejected. They're not even going to look at your CV.
Wow, wow. Really amazing. Eh?
That's
Shivang,
important.
one
Yeah.
more, I think, question is that total cost of maintaining a company per year, including account and audit. That is maybe Ronak has posted that.
Okay. So I will say around 5 to 6,000 CH. If I say, let's say audit, okay, you're just setting up a company, there's no audit required. Okay. Accounting is nothing. It's not a big cost. The VAT is hardly like VAT is around 3,000 francs, 3, 4, 5, 6, around 6 to 7,000 francs, let's say, Ronak. So if you're looking for establishing company, this is like a fixed cost, and then of course the directorship is on the top. Okay, so directorship can range between 8 to 11,000. It depends upon what kind of director you're looking for. Are you looking for an active director who is actually going into the meetings, or you're looking for a silent director who is just like responding when you have a question? So it depends upon that. So it can range from, let's say, 7 8,000 to 15,000 overall, including the cost of directorship.
Excellent. I think we have completed all the questions.
I think that was in Q&A.
For outsourcing, prospects leads can be reached through email or through LinkedIn, or is there any other local platform to find them?
Okay, that's a very good question. For outsourcing LinkedIn, I don't think so that's possible. We don't have, I get this kind of questions a lot. We don't have a local platform where you can find it. What you need to do is you target, let's say, German side first. Okay, I'll be honest with you. The German side is quite easy to work with. So you try the German side, you look for the name of the companies, you can find it on Google, that is possible, and you can try reaching out to them. But again, before you do that, guys, always make sure that you have something in Switzerland. They want to see you. That is the Swiss style, right? If they see the company is there, it's registered. Don't send the email from Gmail or Yahoo or some kind of things, because then they also know you're not serious. So it's important that you have your company registered, and your email domain is also makes sense, even though it's from India, it doesn't matter. But they need to know that you are a genuine person, you are interested in the business. Send them the email, they will respond back to you. Try to send it in the local language. Please do not send in English, please not. That is, I definitely say no. Then
Uh,
one more question is, can a person working in private bank in India? Yeah, I mean, I think that was the same question. So yes, if you're in private bank,
we
it's
have
possible
covered.
to move for sure. I have seen it's possible. Yeah.
I think to learn German, Sanskrit is helpful.
Hmm.
If any person is knowing Sanskrit in India, can learn German easily.
To be honest with you, the answer is yes, because the formation of sentence is the same. So the verb
Yeah.
comes in the second step, the second place, and it's technically the same. Like, I'm a Gujarati, so if I talk about Gujarati, it's exactly the same kind of sentence framing. So yes, the answer is yes. I was also talking to, I think, when we were in WOFA, I raised this topic, and the Central Council member, I was talking to Jai Chaira, I think, and he mentioned that institute is planning to set up this like a course, German course and everything for the CA students as well as for the CA members. I'm not sure where it is right now, but institute is for sure planning this, and I was actually pushing them to start with German. So let's see if they do that. That will be definitely helpful.
No, we will take a follow up, sir, with Jay
Okay.
sir.
Okay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Shivang sir, for such a
Mhm.
elaborative and open session. I think I must say you have shared from your bottom of heart everything and openly. This is and members have given feedback like this also in chat
Mhm.
box. Okay, this is one of the wonderful session. Um, and I think you have covered many things in the limited time,
Mhm.
and we should have repeatedly such sessions for the benefit of members, because
Mhm.
opportunities are many and restrictions are also many, so we should
Mhm.
learn both simultaneously.
Yep.
uh, Opportunities in Germany and both. I mean, we can have a company in Germany, or we can have a outsourcing business in India from Germany. Both we can
Mhm.
in cash, but we have to give our best and have to take extra efforts to get the business.
True.
Sir, is there any WhatsApp group you have in Jarich as a chairman of Jarich chapter,
Mhm.
where we can share our resume or CV for job
Mhm.
purpose?
We don't have any like a group also because I'll be honest with you, Rajeshwar, we get a lot of queries right now from India. And to be honest, we cannot help here with, for example, job search or something, because everything is different. Even for the same kind of role, there are different kind of CVs they are looking for. So I always recommend guys you look for the role on your own on the LinkedIn and apply. We can only help you if there's a question coming from the HR, that what about a visa or something. I'm happy to help. You can always find me on the LinkedIn, for example. I shared also my mail ID recently, so everyone can reach out to my mail address as well. I'll just put it on the chat as well. So if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me if you get any questions or you have any problem. But unfortunately, we cannot like help with the job search or any, that is not possible. We actually want to create one like a one how can I say one place where if we know, for example, that there's a job opportunity, then of course we want to reach out to the right people in India also, that hey guys, there's an opportunity, can you do that? So maybe we can take up with the institute that let's create something like that, that if I know that in my company I want some person and I already know that we are ready to do the job sponsorship, let's put it on that particular platform instead of putting it online. That can be the one of the case where we can actually help our own CA fraternity members.
Great suggestion, sir. Thanks a lot. Uh, uh, I request Jitendra Bhai to please propose a formal vote of thanks. Jitendra, I think he is not there.
चलते. He's here. I'll invite him here. Full chat.
ओहो, क्या बात है. क्या बात है.
Thank you so much, Shivang bhai. I was listening to the session. I actually halfway through, I actually witnessed everything, but then there was some work, so I had to shift from here to the work here. But it was very interesting. You covered most of the aspects, not just the practicing part, the service part as well. I think the slides that you have covered were amazing. You should share those slides with us so that we can host it at WIRC. And I'm very much sure that people who have attended, once they revisit the slides, I think they will actually regain whatever you have covered. So it was a wonderful session. Full credits to you, full credits to the WRC chairman for having you, and thanks to Rajesh Bhai as well, because he has coordinated entirely the session. Along with that, the coordinator of this particular session, Bhattar madam, who was there. So thanks to her as well. And obviously, without audience, we cannot conclude this session. So thanks to the wonderful audience. Even on a day when the Visarjan is happening, we are all here. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining and making this program a successful one. With these words, I conclude, and thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. Thank you, Jitendra Bhai. Thank you, Shivang, for a wonderful
Thank you so
session.
much.
And please talk to Gilbert and just message me. We'll fix up a date and we'll announce that session on crypto.
Okay, perfect. I'll do that. I'll do so.
And if you visit India, do come to WIRC.
Definitely, I will do that for sure.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you so much for giving me the chance. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was a wonderful session, sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Rajesh Bhai.